talked to my team at my pregame meal today about the Super Bowl. And I talked to them about when you come out and you get punched in the mouth early, you got to be ready to play all the time. But we're trying to make a big deal about the first 4 or 5 possessions, both offensively and defensively. And so I made that point. I sat there and watched the team just kind of shrivel up with a couple of bad plays, and it changed, I think, the dynamics of the game. And, we started out the game, and, I'm not blaming one guy or another guy, but, we let Pitchford pop out and just knock a 3 down. I mean, I can't tell you how much it was on the scouting report. One of my smartest players, and then same guy, we miss a layup on the other end. We turn the ball over. We think we missed 4 layups that were dead layups, and but that one was the deadest of layups, and that all happened in the first 2 minutes. And I also talked to him about, when you start having success, you think offense, and everybody wants to change instead of just doing their job. We reverted back to turning the ball over. We played without 2 key people because we were in foul trouble in that first half. And, those 2 key people, I don't know how many minutes they were out, but I know Adrian was out with, I think, 8 or 7 minutes left, and I think Trace was longer. And some of that is because you're not ready to move your feet. You're not prepared. There's always tough losses in a season. This is the toughest so far because I was so disappointed in how we came out. But at the other side of it, I'm not upset about the loss because we got exactly what you deserve. They didn't turn the ball over, 5 turnovers. They made some circus shots, at least 4 of them by Petway, 2 in the first half, 2 in the second one, guys right on him. It was too late then. He was already into his thing. And Pitchford, the same thing. When he hit that first one on the bench, we just said, are you kidding me? After talking about it this much, it wasn't even a pick and pop. It was just a pop out and shoot it. And so we got what we deserve, and the only guy that takes the blame for that is me, because it's my job to get him ready to play, and we didn't look ready to play. And so for that, don't blame them, blame me. They get paid, or they don't get paid. I get paid to do a job. They get a chance to do their job. And energy is the biggest thing that you need in these games, and there's been a lot of teams that aren't bringing it. And that's why there's been some bizarre games. And today it was the Spartans that didn't bring it. And yet, let me say this, Nebraska, they were junkyard dogs. They reminded me of some of our old teams. They took it at us. They talked it. They walked it. They played it. I thought they were tough. I thought they played well defensively. I thought they made some incredible shots. I said, beginning of the year, I think Tim's one of the great new coaches in this league, and he did a hell of a job. And be honest with you guys, we'll go through whatever questions you have, but we got what we deserved. Question.
Tom, do you feel like your team maybe fallen in love with the three-point shot? It looked like they passed up a lot of open 2s to kick it back out for 3s.
Well, we missed 4 layups, so I don't know. Costello misses the first one. There's nobody near him. Denzel, Schilling. I mean, might be. I'll have to take a look at it on film. We took 24. They took 30. They did a pretty good job on Payne inside. They beat him up pretty good. And, I don't know why we didn't run. And players are funny. Remember 2 years ago, players talking, well, we don't want to run. We don't want to run. He doesn't want us to run. We didn't run today, and that I'm going to put that on them. We didn't run. We emphasized it, didn't run. If you get down to the locker room, look at the keys to the game. They're probably still up there. They'll answer all the questions, but maybe.
Tom, 2-part. I know you said you take the blame, not adding insult to injury, but 3:27 to go in the game. The crowd was the loudest it had been. You were only down 2 at that point, and you called the timeout. Could you talk? Was there something?
Yeah. I had 4 left, and I had to talk to him about a couple of things. Number one, it's been hard. Adrian missed one day of practice this week. And we just are playing with different guys. We're playing with Zell at the 4 there for a minute. I wanted to make sure we got what we wanted, one. Number two, I wanted to talk about if we needed to foul, we were going to foul intentionally because, they didn't call any fouls on us. In the second half, they wore their whistle out on us in the first half. So they didn't have any left in the second half. And so I think we only had 1 or 2 team fouls. And so that was the reason. But I don't regret doing it, but I don't mind being questioned about it either.
Second of all, Appling, was that a game time decision, or did you know?
Mm-hmm. Completely. It wasn't when Trice got in foul trouble. I mean, we decided after warm-ups that we were going to try to play him some. And you know what? He tried to do what he could do. But, again, when you don't practice for, 2.5 weeks, I mean, if you're not a skill guy, it's easier. But if you're a skill guy, it's a little harder.
Tom, how do you get a shooter out of a slump in your years and experience? For Gary Harris, I think it's about 6 games now that he hasn't had a real good good shooting game.
Thank God he shot well from the line. Thank God he took it to the hole. I thought he took it to the hole a couple of times. And, we're telling him to take it to the hole to get fouled, and he's taking it to the hole and not getting fouled. That's got to be frustrating. But to his credit, he went and got 7 rebounds, that big tip dunk. He tried to do some other things. He made some great passes if we could make a layup. But he's in here every night shooting. He's working on it morning, noon, and night. I don't know what you do. It's not what I do. It's what he does. But I can only tell you that he's working on it. Don't think that he's not working on it, because he's working on it morning, noon, and night. Maybe too much. So we're going to keep going to him, because he is what he is. Him and AP are inside-outside threats, and that's who we're going to go to.
Coach, the announcement of the Michigan score right before the tip kind of put a charge in the building. Did you feel that had any adverse effect on your team's focus from that very opening tip?
Let me see. Would it help how I feel? Sure. No. There's so many games left to play. To me, it had none. I guess I can't answer it for the players, but why? My question would be then, that should give you momentum. Why? Last year when they lose that game and Nick says to me 5 minutes into the game, they lost. I can swallow that, but that just shows you how sick we are sometimes. No insult intended. If it worked and you went out 1 by 20, we'd be saying, well, that was a motivational thing. No, that should motivate a team. But a team that's playing where we're playing right now shouldn't need any motivation about anything. They should bear down and know who's a three-point shooter, and the first second he pops out and he makes a wide-open three, you're not in the game. Allah, a center snapping at 40 feet over a guy's head. It makes you question right off the bat. And that's where we were tonight. And so like I said, I'm not as mad as you'd think, because I think we deserve what we got, and give them credit. They came in here and punched us in the mouth. We didn't punch back. And that doesn't happen very often. I think there's, a combination of things right now. I told you, trying to get Keith back. This is going to not be as easy as most people think, and so it'll be good. Little controversy might bring us a little closer together, and maybe they'll quit listening to the outside world, start listening to the inside world, because we didn't play today.
Tom, defensively today, it just seemed like when they really wanted to get to the basket or get the corner, they got there. What was it, ball screen issues, or just man-on-man, just having trouble guarding Petaway?
Well, we're a little bit better on the ball screens, but when the guy hits the first shot of the game, and again, I'm going to beat the dead horse and give blame to the people that deserved it, but when he hits the first shot of the game, now when he's ball screen, he's picking and popping, you're responding differently. That was part of it. The second part is, when you have a healthy Keith Appling, he's one of the best defenders in this league. And a healthy Brandon Dawson is the second best defender on our team. Gary Harris is somewhere in there as the second or third, whatever. And, you know, two of those guys were missing in action, of course, and we're not as good defensively without them. So now we're trying to do things and trying to step up, and then we tried to switch some, and, you know, you do got to give Petaway some credit. I mean, Adrian switched out 6'10", is decently on him. He hits 2 fall-away shots. I mean, it was their night. But their night started at the beginning. Don't think it started at the end. It started at the beginning. And that's what I'm most disappointed, that I couldn't get through to my team, and it did.
Tom, you talked about it's not going to be as easy with Keith back, getting him back, you know, to where he needs to be. Talk about the challenges there of players who now have expanded their roles, and now Keith's back, and their roles changed a little bit.
Well, I don't know if their roles changed a little bit. I think some guys reverted back to how they were playing, you know. I mean, Zell rebounded well, but the turnovers early really hurt us. You know, Trav, you know, I mean, he still played 24 minutes, but he sat, I think, 9 minutes in the first half because of the foul trouble. That really set us back, too, a little bit. But I don't see anything really changing a lot as far as the role players. We just got to get our star players back. You know, there's a reason they're role players. They're not starters, and they became starters, and they played very well. But, you know, it wears on you, too, and it makes it a little harder, and then you try to move some guys in, and it's we deserve what we got. It'll be good for us because whether we win the league or not, we got so many games left. That's why the Michigan question was, to me, just a joke. I'm thinking we got to go to Purdue, we got to go to Michigan, we got to go to Ohio State, we got to, we got so many games left. But we did what non-championship teams would do. We did not bring it. We did not defend. We did not play smart, and we didn't play with the toughness that most of our teams play with. If there are reasons for it, I'm gonna find them out. But if there's not, we're gonna change it.
Tom, you guys weren't the first team that Nebraska got in the last stretch here at all. Are they the prime example of a bottom of the league that's
Well, they won, what, 5 out of 7?
5
Now
out of
it's
7,
6
yeah.
out of 8.
Yeah, I mean, how legit are they as a basketball team?
They're making those shots. They're pretty legit. You know, I don't know if they can make those shots all the time. I mean, you know, like I said, there was a couple Pitchford had that were, you know, wide open shots, but there were very few. In fact, personally, I thought the ones that were open they missed, and the ones that were contested they made. I mean, I thought Gallegos had a bunch of open looks. I thought Shields had some open looks. That's the really funny part about it. I think they made them more with people on them, end of the shot clock. I mean, like I said, Petaway he made some big time. Every one of his threes, I think, was towards the end of a shot clock, going right, falling away. And, boy, he made some big-time shots. So I don't look at them. They're not in the bottom of the league anymore, that's for sure. They're middle to working their way up and very well coached and did a great job.
Coach, do you think this is the most frustrated maybe your team has played this season? It seemed like there was a lot more yelling and at each other and things going like that or on the court.
Yeah, I think they're frustrated. You know, they don't get to practice with each other. They don't have a feel for each other. We add new guys in. AP is frustrated. Yeah, you know, and that's what happens when you don't play together. But they still get along well. All those things are good. Those are frustration things. And they just better get back to realizing you play hard, a lot of good things happen, and you play smart. And if you don't play hard and smart, you don't follow the scouting report and let a team get going, they can get going, and they did. And so was they frustrated? Not as frustrated as I was. But they were probably frustrated some. You know. It's been tough on them too, not just me.